want to talk about Coach Set because he's a guy that both of us have played for. I actually had him 2 different times. I had him when I was in Wisconsin. He was the running backs coach my senior year, but then I had him again in Cleveland. He was the running backs coach in Cleveland for 1 season. So I know he was involved in recruiting you, and you had a lot of different places that would have loved to have you come to their program in college. But how influential was Coach Set on bringing you to Wisconsin?
Coach Set was very influential. One of the biggest things he talked about was a lot of other schools are going to say, oh, well, we think you're just like this player, we think you're just like that player, similar build, you play just like them. One of the biggest things was Coach Set always mentioned he doesn't know what kind of player I am. Mm-hmm. He knows the potential that I have by my film. He sees that I have great feet, great speed. He can work with that. One of the things he said is, I'm going to build you from the feet up, and then that'll help determine what kind of player you're going to be. He said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're going to be like Melvin Gordon. You're not going to be like James White. He said, because everybody's different. So I think that was the biggest thing. A lot of schools, they kind of said, oh, well, we think you're just like Zeke, or we think you're just like this guy. One of the things that Wisconsin, the whole school, just like Coach Chryst, Coach Rudy, all of those coaches, one of the things they said is, we're going to make you into the best football player that you can be. So I kind of was individualized, and I kind of like that because I wanted to be my own player.
Mm-hmm. What stuck out about Wisconsin for you that made you say, I know Harvard's recruiting me, that's a great school. By the way, I always call Wisconsin the Harvard of the Midwest to all my buddies in college and or in the pros. And they never really believed me, but I'm sticking with it. So I think you still did pick Harvard. But what made Wisconsin really stick out for you that you said, I got to go there?
That saying is actually very true. I did my research. Like you said, I had an opportunity to go Ivy League and also had Power 5 opportunities. And, I've heard a lot of stories that, you go to a Power 5 school, they want to put you in easy classes just to get you by. And I was always a big education guy. I loved going to school when I was in high school when I was younger. So I know that was a big part of what I wanted to experience at the next level. And I actually did research and found out that Wisconsin was a top 20 academic institution. Mm-hmm. As well as a top 20 athletic program. So I kind of wanted a balance for my college experience. And once I saw that it was a top 20 academic institution, I said it probably doesn't get too much better than this. I mean, you have a place for great running backs to go. You have a place where you're going to get a great education. I said, I think this might be the place for me.
Yeah. Let's talk about another guy that we both have relationships with, Paul Chryst. He was my offensive coordinator when I was here my last 2 years. He actually was the tight ends coach when I was being recruited out of high school, but then he left to go to Oregon State for a couple of years, came back, then he left, obviously he went to Pitt, then he's come back, now he's your head coach. How's your relationship with Paul?
It's great, and I think one of the biggest things is he tries to build the relationship with as many players on the team as possible. His door is always open, and one thing I notice is even if he's in a meeting, his door is always open. So sometimes you might be going to see your position coach, and you walk past Coach Chryst' office, and he's like, hey, come on in, let me talk to you for a second. Sometimes you might have 15 minutes before you have to go to class. You just had to grab something from your position coach real quick, and you're like, hey, what's up, coach? I mean, I have 15 minutes, I really gotta go. But I think that's good because a lot of places I hear that you can't go inside your head coach's office without having a meeting, or it's not as an open door policy as Coach Chryst. So I think one of the biggest things is he's very transparent, he loves to communicate, and I think that's big between a player and a coach.
What do you like about Coach Chryst on the field? What about his coaching style do you like?
He's always cool, calm, and collected, no matter the situation. No matter if we're up by 40 or down by 6, he's always the same. And one of the biggest things, he's consistent. And I think that's one of the biggest things with the entire program is that the program is always consistent. And I think that is a reflection of the coach. If your coach is consistent in what he does, then the program will be consistent, the players will be consistent. So I love how he's consistent and mellow on the field. I mean, he might have times where, emotions go up and, the media likes to catch it sometimes because he's so consistent with how he is, but we love him.